Paul O'Neill, Yes Network, the Yankees TV analyst. He joins us now. Paul, how would you rate this season for the Yankees as far as if it was successful or not?
Well, I mean, I think throughout the year, it was almost surprising how well they did at times with what was going on injury-wise and things like that. But the way it ended, obviously, that's what you remember, and it just was not good. It didn't look good. When New York Yankees lose, it's a big story, but the way they lost makes it even a bigger story.
Well, I looked at this team and said they got to the ALCS and everything that they went through this year. Other teams go through stuff, but I just thought that people are going to miss the bigger story. I thought the Tigers was, their domination, that rotation, that was a bigger story. The Yankees are always going to be juicier, especially when they lose. How much credit do you give the Tigers? How much blame to the Yankee bats?
It's funny because you look at when you want to peak. Obviously, the Tigers peaked the last couple of weeks of the season and became what most people thought they would be all year. And you could just tell with the camaraderie of that team is all on one page right now, and it just looks like that's the way they were, and the total opposite on the other side of the dugout in the Yankees. It just you saw a team that battled through a lot, got to the playoffs, very lucky to get to the LCS because Baltimore gave them everything they could handle, and basically had that series, in their hand until Ibanez had that big night. So, it was sad for me to see a team kind of just fall apart when you get the important time of the season, and that's the playoffs.
But do you think this lineup, though, it's one-dimensional? It's certainly the left-handed bats that I think they had a hard time manufacturing a run just to get a little bit of confidence or maybe diffuse a little bit of the momentum on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you're a home run team, when you go bad, you look flat. When you don't score runs, you look bad. But there were times that you could tell that, veteran hitters were up there without a plan or even a chance of making contact. And that, this team is too good for that. And, I look at teams and, you kind of feed off each other emotionally as far as hitting well. And it's almost like this team almost fed off each other in a negative way. And I think everybody kind of came down.
What do you do with A-Rod?
Well, I tell you what, that's a question that's going to have to be looked at, and there's definitely going to be some scars on where he's from. I mean, he went through something he's really never gone through as far as being benched and things like that in a national spotlight. Can it make him a better player? I don't know. Can he be the successful player in New York that he wants to be? I don't know, because I don't know if the fans are going to accept him coming back. I mean, is he going to be like this every time he goes to the postseason? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best guys to ever take the field. But right now there's so many other things going around, but then, the money becomes a big issue. So there's going to be a lot of things for the Yankees to sort out in that one person.
If you take away the money aspect and just said this guy and what he means to the team and playing ability, would you have him on the team next year?
Well, I think absolutely. I think that he can still do things offensively on the field that a lot of guys can't do. I think the Yankees are kind of stuck salary-wise because they want to stay under a cap. But again, it seems to affect him. Even as great a player as he is, it affects him in Yankee Stadium when the fans get on him. And I don't see that that's going to stop. I think it's only going to increase. And is that going to be a good place for him to play? I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's hard, though, Paul. You know how those fans are. They're loyal as long as you're loyal to them and playing hard, and they don't have a good gauge of A-Rod and who he is and what he is.
I agree. I think that, New York, they love to win. They love the best place in the world to win. There's no doubt about it. But when people are so good at things, when they don't do well, it almost looks like they're not trying or they've given up. And it is, I look at Robbie Cano as the same way. He is so gifted on the baseball field that when he doesn't play well, it almost looks like he's not trying or he's lazy. And that's not the thing. It's just that he is so graceful at what he does. And sometimes A-Rod, when he's hitting home runs can be the same thing. And I think that sometimes the New York fans get the misconception that these guys just, have written it in or are not playing today. It's a hard game. Don't get me wrong. I don't care if you're the greatest player in the world. It's a hard game. And when you get it going wrong, especially in the playoffs, mentally, it's very hard to fight.
It's good to visit with you again, Paul. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you. So you take care. Good to hear from you.
All right, buddy. Paul O'Neill, Yankees broadcaster, Yes Network.